John always loved exploring the forest near his hometown. It was his escape from the mundane routine of daily life. One evening, as he ventured deeper into the woods, he saw a bright flash of light in the sky. Curious, he followed the light to its source and found something he never expected: a crashed alien spacecraft. The craft was sleek and silver, with strange symbols etched into its surface. Smoke billowed from the wreckage and sparks flew from exposed wires. John's heart pounded as he approached cautiously, wondering if he was dreaming. As he got closer, he heard a faint, melodic voice. "Help, please help me!" John hesitated, his instincts telling him to run, but his curiosity and compassion overruled his fear. He pushed aside some debris and found an alien girl lying on the ground. She had smooth, pale blue skin, large, luminous eyes, and delicate features. She looked injured and weak, unable to stand. "Are you okay?" John asked, his voice trembling. "You look hurt. I can help you if you trust me." The alien girl looked at him with a mix of fear and hope. "Thank you, human." "My name is Zara. I need to warn you. They're coming." John didn't understand, but he knew he had to act fast. He gently lifted Zara, feeling an inexplicable connection to her. "I'll take you to my cabin. It's not far from here. We'll figure this out." As they made their way to the cabin, Zara explained in broken English that she was from a distant planet called Elysia. She was fleeing from a hostile alien race known as the Zorathians, who were chasing her across the galaxy. They wanted to capture her because of her unique abilities, which they intended to exploit for their own gain. John listened, fascinated and horrified. He couldn't believe that just a few hours ago, his biggest worry was his next shift at the local diner. Now he was involved in an intergalactic conflict. At the cabin, John tended to Zara's wounds with the limited medical supplies he had. As he worked, he noticed how her skin seemed to glow softly, especially when she was in pain. Despite the danger, he felt drawn to her. "You're safe here," John assured her, though he wasn't sure how true that was. "We'll figure something out." Zara looked at him with gratitude. "You're very kind, John. But we don't have much time. The Zorathians will come." "They always do." John's mind raced. He knew they had to prepare for whatever was coming, but for now, all he could do was keep Zara safe and learn as much as he could about her world and the threat they faced. As the night wore on, John realized that his life had changed forever. He wasn't just a small-town guy anymore. He was now a part of something much bigger, something that could determine the fate of their world. And as he looked at Zara, he felt a surge of determination. He wouldn't let anything happen to her. In the days that followed, John and Zara grew closer. They spent hours talking about their worlds, sharing stories and laughter. John was fascinated by Zara's tales of Elysia, a beautiful planet with advanced technology and a rich culture. In return, he introduced her to the simple joys of Earth, like watching sunsets and listening to music. One evening, as they sat by the fireplace in John's cabin, Zara revealed more about her abilities. She could manipulate energy, creating barriers and healing wounds. She demonstrated by healing a cut on John's hand, her touch gentle and warm. John was amazed, but also worried about the danger she was in. "Why are the Zorathians after you?" John asked, his brow furrowed with concern. Zara sighed, her eyes reflecting the flickering flames. "My abilities are rare even among my people. The Zorathians believe they can use me to enhance their weapons and dominate the galaxy. I escaped to prevent that, but now they're here and they won't stop until they find me." John's heart ached for her. Despite the danger, he felt an overwhelming urge to protect her. "We'll find a way to stop them," he said firmly. "You're not alone in this." Their bond grew stronger with each passing day. They shared moments of joy and sadness, finding comfort in each other's presence. John taught Zara about Earth's customs, and she showed him how to use her advanced technology. They discovered they had more in common than they initially thought. And soon, their friendship blossomed into something deeper. One night, while stargazing on the cabin's porch, Zara leaned her head on John's shoulder. "Our worlds are so different, yet I feel like I've known you forever," she whispered. John smiled, wrapping his arm around her. "I feel the same, Zara. We'll face whatever comes together." Their peaceful moments were soon overshadowed by a sense of impending doom. Zara began to have visions of the Zorathians drawing closer. She knew they had to prepare for an attack. They started fortifying the cabin, using her technology to set up defenses. John's friends, Mark and Lisa, joined them, forming an unlikely alliance to protect Zara and their home. One afternoon, while working on the defenses, Zara suddenly tensed, her eyes widening with fear. "They're here," she whispered. "We have to be ready." John's heart raced as he looked into the forest. He could feel the tension in the air. The Zorathians had arrived, and their peaceful days were over. They had to fight for their lives, their love, and the future of both their worlds. As the sun set, casting long shadows over the forest, John and Zara stood side by side, ready to face the oncoming threat. Their love gave them strength, and their determination to protect each other fueled their resolve. They knew the battle ahead would be tough, but they were prepared to fight with everything they had. The tranquility of the forest was shattered as the Zorathian ships descended, their engines roaring like thunder. John, Zara, Mark, and Lisa took their positions, ready to defend their makeshift fortress. The air was thick with tension, every rustle in the trees setting their nerves on edge. John's heart pounded as he looked at Zara, her eyes glowing with determination. "We have to hold them off until we can find a way to make them retreat," he said, gripping his weapon tightly. Zara nodded, her voice steady despite the fear in her eyes. "We can do this, together." The first wave of Zorathian soldiers emerged from the trees, their alien forms silhouetted against the dim light. They were tall and menacing, their armor glinting in the fading sunlight. John's pulse quickened as he raised his makeshift blaster, a piece of Zara's technology modified to fit his hand. "Here they come," Mark shouted, his voice filled with both excitement and terror. The battle erupted in a flurry of energy blasts and shouted commands. John fired at the approaching soldiers, his aim improving with each shot. Zara used her abilities to create energy shields, deflecting enemy fire and protecting their small group. Mark and Lisa fought bravely, using their knowledge of the terrain to their advantage. Despite their efforts, the Zorathians kept advancing. Their sheer numbers threatened to overwhelm the defenders. John's heart sank as he realized they were losing ground. He looked at Zara, who was struggling to maintain her shields. "We need to fall back!" John shouted. "We can't hold them here!" Zara nodded reluctantly, her energy waning. They retreated into the cabin, using the narrow entrance to bottleneck the enemy. The close quarters gave them a slight advantage, but it was only a matter of time before the Zorathians broke through. As the battle raged on, John found himself separated from Zara. Panic surged through him as he fought his way back to her. He couldn't let her be captured. Not after everything they'd been through. "Zara!" he called out, his voice hoarse from shouting. "Where are you?" "I'm here," Zara replied, her voice strained. John spotted her near the back of the cabin, fending off 2 Zorathian soldiers. He rushed to her side, blasting the enemies away with a surge of adrenaline-fueled strength. "We can't keep this up," Zara gasped, her energy almost depleted. "They're too strong." John's mind raced. They needed a plan, something to turn the tide of the battle. Then it hit him.
"Zara, can you overload them with your energy?"
Zara's eyes widened in realization. "Yes, but it will take everything I have left." "Do it," John urged. "We'll cover you." As Zara focused her remaining energy, John and the others held off the Zorathians, fighting with renewed vigor. Zara extended her hands, her body glowing with a brilliant light. She directed a surge of energy towards the enemy, causing their weapons to malfunction and explode. The Zorathians, caught off guard, were thrown into disarray. Taking advantage of the chaos, John and his friends launched a counterattack, driving the invaders back. The tide of the battle had turned. As the last of the Zorathians retreated, John rushed to Zara's side. She was exhausted, barely able to stand. He caught her as she stumbled, holding her close. "We did it," he whispered, relief flooding his voice. "We actually did it." Zara smiled weakly, her eyes filled with gratitude and love. "Together," she said softly. "We're stronger together." With the immediate threat gone, they knew this was just the beginning. But they also knew that as long as they had each other, they could face whatever challenges lay ahead. The aftermath of the battle left John and Zara's small group exhausted and emotionally drained. The cabin, once a safe haven, now bore the scars of the fierce fight. Walls were scorched and debris littered the floor. The forest around them was eerily silent, a stark contrast to the chaos that had ensued. John held Zara close as they sat on the porch, both trying to catch their breath. "We survived, but at what cost?" John wondered aloud, his voice filled with sorrow. Zara looked into his eyes, her expression one of deep sadness. We lost friends today, but we must honor their sacrifice by continuing to fight for what's right. As they gathered to assess their situation, Mark and Lisa shared their grim news. We're running low on supplies, Mark said, and there's no guarantee the Zorathians won't return with reinforcements. Lisa nodded in agreement. We need a plan, and fast. We can't stay here much longer. John felt the weight of their words. The thought of losing more friends was unbearable. He glanced at Zara, who seemed lost in thought. What are you thinking? He asked her gently. Zara sighed, her voice barely above a whisper. There's something I haven't told you. My presence on Earth might be putting everyone at risk. If the Zorathians capture me, they could use my abilities to destroy this planet. John's heart ached. He couldn't imagine life without Zara, but he also couldn't bear the thought of her sacrificing herself. No, he said firmly. There has to be another way. We'll find a solution together. That night, as they huddled in the damaged cabin, Zara had a vision. She saw a way to stop the Zorathians, but it required great personal sacrifice. She knew she couldn't do it alone. John, she said softly, waking him from a restless sleep. I have an idea, but it's dangerous. I'll need your help. John's eyes were filled with determination. Whatever it takes, Zara. We're in this together. Zara explained her plan. They would need to infiltrate the Zorathian mothership and disable their command center. It was risky, but it was their best shot at ending the threat once and for all. They prepared themselves mentally and physically for the mission, knowing it could be their last. As they set out on their journey, John couldn't shake the feeling of impending doom. They had faced so much together, and now they were about to embark on their most dangerous mission yet. He took Zara's hand, giving it a reassuring squeeze. We'll get through this, he said, trying to mask his fear. Zara smiled, though her eyes were filled with worry. We have to, for everyone we've lost and for the future we want to build. Their journey to the Zorathian mothership was fraught with peril. They navigated through dense forests and treacherous terrains, using Zara's abilities to stay hidden from enemy patrols. Each step brought them closer to their goal, but also closer to the heart of danger. Finally, they reached the outskirts of the Zorathian base. The sight of the imposing structure sent shivers down their spines. This is it, Zara whispered. We have to be careful. As they approached the mothership, John couldn't help but feel a sense of dread. The fate of their world rested on their shoulders. But with Zara by his side, he felt a glimmer of hope. They were a team, and together they could overcome any obstacle. The final stand awaited them, and they were ready to face it with all the courage and strength they had left. The imposing Zorathian mothership loomed ahead, its metallic surface reflecting the eerie glow of distant stars. John and Zara, along with Mark and Lisa, crept toward it, their hearts pounding with a mix of fear and determination. They knew this mission would be their most challenging yet, but it was their only hope to save Earth and secure a future together. Remember the plan? Zara whispered, her eyes scanning the surroundings. We disable the command center, then get out as fast as we can. John nodded, gripping his weapon tightly. We've got this. Stay close, everyone. They navigated through the underbrush, using Zara's energy manipulation to cloak their presence. The closer they got to the mothership, the more intense the feeling of danger became. They reached a maintenance hatch on the ship's underside, their entry point. Mark worked quickly to bypass the security, his fingers deftly maneuvering through the alien technology. Almost there, he muttered. With a final click, the hatch opened and they slipped inside. The interior of the mothership was a maze of corridors, pulsating with an otherworldly glow. They moved silently, their senses heightened. Zara led the way, her instincts guiding them through the labyrinth. They encountered a few Zorathian patrols, but with quick thinking and Zara's abilities, they managed to avoid detection. Finally, they reached the command center, a massive room filled with advanced alien technology. At the center was the control console, their target. Zara approached it, her hands glowing as she prepared to overload the system. "Cover me," she instructed. John, Mark, and Lisa took positions, ready to fend off any Zorathians who might interrupt them. As Zara worked, alarms blared and the room flooded with red light. The Zorathians had detected the intrusion. The door burst open and soldiers poured in. John and his friends fired back, holding the line while Zara focused on the console. "Hurry, Zara!" John shouted over the noise of the battle. "We can't hold them off forever." Zara's energy surged, causing the console to spark and malfunction. The ship trembled as the systems overloaded. Just as the Zorathians were about to overwhelm them, A massive explosion rocked the ship, sending the aliens scrambling. "We did it!" Zara exclaimed, her face glowing with relief. "The command center is disabled. Let's get out of here!" They fought their way back to the hatch, the ship shaking violently. John helped Zara through, followed by Mark and Lisa. As they exited, the mothership began to descend, its systems failing. Once outside, they ran to a safe distance, watching as the colossal structure crashed into the forest with a deafening roar. The ground shook, and a cloud of debris rose into the sky. The Zorathians had been defeated. John turned to Zara, his heart swelling with pride and love. "We did it, Zara. We saved Earth." Zara smiled, tears of joy in her eyes. "We did it together. I couldn't have done it without you." Mark and Lisa joined them, their faces reflecting the same relief and triumph. They had faced incredible odds and emerged victorious. The threat was gone, and they could finally look forward to a peaceful future. In the days that followed, John and Zara's bond grew even stronger. They decided to make a life together on Earth, blending their worlds and cultures. Their love story became an inspiration, showing that unity and hope could overcome even the greatest of challenges. The forest, once a battlefield, began to heal. John and Zara often returned to the cabin, a symbol of their journey and love. They knew they had many adventures ahead, but they were ready to face them together. And so, with a heart full of hope and a future full of possibilities, they embraced the life they had fought so hard to protect. Together, they had proven that love and courage could conquer anything, even an intergalactic war.